Hello and welcome to my live stream. Today is Sunday, and today was a really good day. We had a little rain today here in Montgomery, Alabama. It was a pretty rainy day today. We went to church this morning, and then after church, had some lunch, did a little bit of listing on eBay, and then after that, went to the commissary at Maxwell Air Force Base, did a little grocery shopping, and got the groceries that we needed for this week. So it's been a very productive day, and it has also been a pretty busy day. So I'm ready to get started with today's live stream. I'll give you guys just a couple of minutes to come in. And for you guys that are watching this after the live stream, if you're not familiar with this channel, my channel's name is Retire Inspired. And in this channel, I talk about the retirement experience, specifically my retirement experience and what I'm doing in retirement to take to spend my days and, exactly what am I doing that's productive or not productive or sometimes I sleep a little bit later than I used to. I sleep till 8:30 sometimes. But I also stay up a lot later than I used to as well. I very rare that I will ever go to bed before midnight. Usually it's about 12:30, and sometimes it is as late as 1 o'clock in the morning. Hey, good evening, Renee and Todd. How are you guys doing tonight? I hope you're doing well. Are you guys going to have a live stream tomorrow? Hey, William. William is my brother. His name is William Smith, and he lives in Enterprise, Alabama, which is about an hour and a half drive from here. Good to see you on here tonight, William. William is interested in doing eBay as well, but he's just got to get started. That's all any of us have to do is just get started, right? So eBay is something that is pretty good for passing the time, but it is also productive. I'm able to make a little bit of income with it. And so that's really nice that I'm able to do something that I enjoy doing, and I'm able to make a little bit of extra money with it. So I like that. Renee, I guess that's Renee leaving the messages. We are okay. We're up at 260, up to 265 listings on eBay with 7 sales today. That is awesome. I am so happy that you guys are really getting started with your eBay and getting on the daily listings. You can tell that there's a big difference when you start listing on a daily basis. Isn't that correct? My brother says, Rat Stash, do you do anything on consignment? They live in Pennsylvania, William, so I think you would have a little bit of a trouble getting your items to them. But I don't think they do anything on consignment either. So I'm going to get started with my performance. I'm going to show you my performance on eBay. So this is my Seller Hub dashboard that I have, and this shows the last 31 days of sales. So this is really good for keeping up with how I'm doing, and it can be a little bit obsessive if you're not careful with it. I have a tendency to want to go to this and look at it several times a day just to see how it's doing. Renee says, sadly, we cannot. Pennsylvania doesn't allow that without an auctioneer license. I didn't know that. That's interesting information. So this is my seller dashboard, my Seller Hub, as it's called. And it has information about how my sales have been. And I I can come up here and I can change it for today's sales and generate a report, or I can do 30 days. See, it's $147 today, and I've sold 2 items with the average sales price per item of $73.89. Now this is kind of weird. It says selling cost is $121.08, and that I have been paid $19.86. So I'm going to have to check into that and figure out what's going on. That doesn't make any sense. But also I can generate a report for this month. For this is July 1st through July 28th. So this is the majority of July. It says my total sales are $4,494.38, and that's a pretty good number. Usually, on an average month, I do about $5,000 worth of sales, so I'm pretty close to reaching my sales goals for the month of $5,000. The taxes and fees was $259.25. Selling cost was $1,455.83, which is 32% of my total sales. And the reason for that is because I do the dynamic promoted listing. Renee and Todd, if y'all are not familiar with that, it is a promotion that you can do where they adjust the percentage of what eBay gets based on how things are looking for a particular day. So mine is averaging about 32.4% of my sales that goes to eBay. And I have set a cap of 15%, so they can't take any more than 15% of my sales for a sale. So my total net sales that I have actually brought home is $2,779.30. Quantity sold is 72 items. Average sales price is $62.42. So that means for the average sales price of each item that I have sold this month is $62.42. So William says, I'm sure Marty will be here soon. Okay. Hey, Dustin, good to see you on here, Dustin. And I want to give Dustin a shout out. He has been really active on my channel recently, and he has sent me lots of comments, and I certainly do appreciate all the comments that you've sent this last week, Dustin, on both of the videos that I put out. This is the first time I've ever put out 2 videos in 1 week. Usually I just put out 1 video, and lately I've been doing 1 live per week. So I'm gonna continue this, though. I'm gonna continue doing my live 1 time a week, and it's going to be every Sunday at 6:30. So if you have some free time on Sundays at 6:30, then try to join me. William says, good evening, Dustin. Renee says, no, that's interesting to know. Yeah, are you talking about the you're talking about the dynamic promoted listing. Dustin says, you're welcome, enjoying the channel. I am so glad that you're enjoying the channel, Dustin. I think you're my #1 fan. And I think I'm going to add you as a moderator on my channel so that you can monitor the chat as it's going and make corrections if there are any needed. Do you feel like you could do that, Dustin? Would you like to do that? Hey, Chuck, I've been watching your channel and really enjoying your content. Chuck lives out in Arizona, and I met Chuck. He has a channel, and I think he has something like 4,000 subscribers. He's doing really good. But I met Chuck out in Arizona in January when I went out there for the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous in Quartzsite. Had a really good time. I enjoyed meeting Chuck, and I consider him a very good friend, and glad that he is part of my close friendship circle. Dustin says, hello, William. William says, what do you think I could get for an HP PC with keyboard, mic, and speakers? I tell you what, William, if you will do something for me, we can actually look it up live, and I can show you how to look something like that up on eBay to find out how much you can sell it for. So give me the model number of your PC and any information you have, the brand and model number. Dustin says, I think I can do that. Awesome. Well, wonderful. I will add you if I don't do it during this live stream. If you'll hang around for just a minute after the live stream is over, I will add you to the list. And Chad from Wolfman's Goodies has joined us as well. It's so good to see you on here, Chad. I just got through watching Chad's live stream. He does a live stream every Sunday at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. And so I encourage you to join Chad. He is pretty close to having like 650 subscribers, if I'm not correct. Then correct me, Chad. But Chad has a really unique channel. I enjoy watching his channel. He has a video out every day where he goes over what he has sold, and it's very interesting. So Renee from Rat's Stash says, Wolfman, hello, chat. And Renee, if you and Chad are interested, I would like to add you guys as moderators for the channel as well. So just let me know if you'd be interested in doing that, and I will certainly add you guys as well. So getting back to the Seller Hub and the monthly report, like I said, I've made $4,494.38, and I got to keep about $2,779.30. And again, as I've mentioned before in previous live streams, that $2,779 doesn't take into account the amount of money that I spent on the items that I purchased, my cost of goods, as it's called. So if I take out about $200 from the bank every week to go yard selling and thrifting, and so it's about $800. So I've got about $1,900 take home after taxes and fees. So that is not too bad for the month of July so far. So I'm really happy with that number. And this Seller Hub is a wonderful thing because it also lets me know what kind of things I'm selling and what I'm not selling in my store. It shows me what the top categories are and then how much I've sold in those categories. So you can see that my top category is video games and consoles this month. So I've had a 546% increase in my video games and consoles. So it's up to 28.83% of my total sales. And I knew this would happen. It would increase. My video games and consoles would increase as time went on in the year, because as we start getting toward the third quarter, people like to purchase those type of things for Christmas gifts. And so they get a little, people get started early in the quarter in purchasing those Christmas gifts for different people. And people they love those retro video games, the NES, the Super NESs, and I sell the consoles as a bundle, the Sony PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4, and pretty much anything. The Sega Genesis, there's two versions of the Sega Genesis, the Model 1 and the Model 2, and I have a little bit of all of that in my store. So it's pretty good. So Renee says that she would be glad to serve as a moderator on my channel. Great. If you'll hang around after the live stream, I will add you as well as a moderator on my channel. And William says he wants me to make him an admin. Now, an admin is a little bit different than a moderator. You would have the same authority to make changes on my channel that I would if I made you an admin. But I may consider making you a moderator if you're interested in doing that. And Marty says, hey, Marty is William's girlfriend's daughter. And William says, hey to Marty. Okay. So let's see what else, what other categories that I've been selling that have been doing pretty good in my store. Collectibles are the next item that has done well at 7.86% of my sales for a total of $353.25. Clothing, shoes, and accessories. I've done $213 in clothing, shoes, and accessories. Movies and TV, that would be DVDs, VHS, that sort of thing, $186. Clothing, shoes, and accessories, again, $187. Toys and hobbies, $184. And then we keep going down: dolls and bears, collectibles, sporting goods, cameras and photos, musical instruments. And then the lowest item was toys and hobbies. So then you go down and you can see actually, how much I made each day. And you can see Chad from Wolfman's Goodies mentioned that he had a couple of days without any sales, and that has happened to me right here. I think it happened here on July 2nd and 3rd. No, I did sell something on July 3rd, but July 2nd I didn't have any sales. And then July 3rd and July 6th, no sales. July 8th, no sales. July 13th, no sales. July 16th, no sales. So I've had days where I just haven't had any sales. And then I have a day like July the 19th where I had $753 in sales. So it's just all over the place. I can't figure out eBay's algorithm and why they decide to promote my listings on some days, and then some days I don't. I must not be getting any promotion on my listings at all because there's no sales. But another thing that I've run into, and Chad may be familiar with this, is sometimes I get issues with my listings having high shipping costs. I calculate my shipping. I usually put my weight and measurements in my listings, and so when I calculate those listings, the shipping for those listings, it just automatically generates a price for the buyer, and it's based on where the buyer is located. So I've had items that should not have had a real high shipping cost, and I've been contacted by a potential buyer and saying, "Hey, I would like to buy your item, but your item is only $150, but your shipping is $170. I can't afford that." And so I start, digging in and looking at my items and the shipping cost, and why is the shipping cost so high. Sometimes it's because I have had wrong measurements in the listing, and so I can go in and make adjustments to those measurements. Sometimes I've had correct measurements, but it was just a particularly large item. So if you have something that's over 21 inches, it's going to cost more to ship, even if you ship it with UPS or with FedEx, but especially if you ship it with the United States Postal Service. So you have to be real careful on the shipping, because that's something that can take away sales. Rat's Stash, which is Renee, says it's funny with sales. Some days crickets, and other days the cash register rings all day. Well, I wish that mine would ring all day. I'm lucky if I get 2 or 3 rings in a day. So I wish that mine would do the ringing, because I like that cha-ching sound. I know Chad likes that cha-ching sound because he's got a little noise maker in his office where he makes that cha-ching sound when he wants to hear it. So he gets that self-gratification there. And I don't blame you, Chad. If I had one of those noise makers, I would do that myself. So let me move over and show some of my sales for the last 3 weeks, because it's been about 3 weeks since I put a what sold video out. So let me show you some of the things that I have sold recently. So here is my what sold section. This shows all the items in my store that have been listed and sold. And so I've had 1,600 items sold so far. And today I had 2 items sell. I had this baseball glove, and I had a pair of military desert boots. And if you can find those desert boots, I highly recommend that you pick those up because they sell for pretty good money. Um, and I was able to get that pair of boots for really a reasonable price. But another thing that sells pretty good are these baseball gloves. If you can get a baseball glove and this one came from a yard sale, and I usually pick these up for no more than $5 a piece. And sometimes I can get them as low as $2 and $3 a piece. But this baseball glove sold for $31.49. And if you'll look over here, you'll see that it was $34.99. But I do a 10% promotion on all of my items. And one thing I do that it's kind of a marketing thing that I do. I list my items at the top of the range of where they're at on the sold comps. So, so when I do the 10% off on all my items, it kind of brings it down to what the average sold price is. So when the buyer goes and purchases my item, they feel like they're getting a little bit of a deal, which is kind of a marketing thing. And it's something that retailers use all the time. So it has worked for me when my 10% off, it expires every month or so. I have to go in and renew it. But when my 10% off expires, I can see my sales drop really drastically. So that's the softball glove that sold for $31. But this pair of boots here, usually I pay around $10 for a pair of nice boots like this. This pair of boots was brand new, and I featured these in one of my videos not too long ago. I showed these boots, but these boots were in brand new condition, and they sold today for $50 and $54.90. Now these boots I bought for $2. I got these at a yard sale for $2. There were 4 pair total. These were in one of my prior videos, but there were 4 pairs total of these boots, and I bought each one of the pairs for $2 a piece. So turning $2 into $54.90 is an awesome return on investment. William says, you like to make money more than spend it. I like to make it, but and you know, sometimes it hurts when you have to spend it. And it's funny when it's quick. Okay, and you were talking about your thrift store. Okay, so you were talking about your thrift store having the cha-chings. Okay, gotcha. And thanks, Renee, for telling me that was a good tip. Okay, so those boots sold for $54.90, which was a really good sale. The next item that I sold was yesterday. I sold 3 items yesterday. I sold this puzzle. It's not a puzzle. It's actually a model kit, and it's called the Mouse Cemetery. The cemetery, and it's for like a mouse. It's a mouse cemetery, and it's a model kit, and it's a vintage model kit. In the past, I've talked about my friend named George that had the gold and silver place where he bought gold and silver, and people would come into his store with random stuff like it was a pawn shop, and they would ask to sell him stuff, and I would just he would call me and he would say, hey, I got so and so in my store today, and they've got some stuff I think you might be interested in selling on eBay. So I would go up there and I would go in and look and see what they got. And this was a young man and his father were together, and they had cleaned out their grandmother's attic or something like that. And there were several of these vintage models that they had there that day, and I bought all of them for like $25, and I've already sold 4 of them for 50, 50 and 80 and $60. So this is actually the lowest price one that I had, that was $28.90 that I sold. So I've already made my money back on that deal. But a little bit about George. He's the guy I mentioned in a previous video that was murdered here in Montgomery by some people who robbed a Mexican convenience store where he just happened to be at the wrong time, and he was shot and killed and taken away from his family. So that was a very tragic thing, and I really miss George. He was an amazing guy, really good guy, and kind too. He was a super kind guy. The next thing I sold yesterday was this set of Hot Wheels. Now, one thing I bought these Hot Wheels, I guess about 2 or 3 years ago, and I bought a whole tub full of Hot Wheels, and there were some sets. This was one of the sets that was in that tub. Now I've already, well made back my money on these. This is a Heat Fleet series. There were 4 vehicles in this series, and so I listed it for $14.99, which is a really good deal because, I mean, 5, 10, 15, that's less than $5 per vehicle. So they ended up with the 10% off on my store. They ended up buying it for $13.49, which was a super good deal for them. They made a great deal. So, but that was also a good deal for me because I'm, everything that I make on this Hot Wheel stuff that I have now is just free money because I've already made my money back on that. The next item that I sold yesterday was these beautiful gold. They're Mecca. They're gold shoes. Yes, that's right. They're gold tennis shoes. And I've had these gold tennis shoes listed in my store for a long time. They've been in my store for a very long time. It's amazing how stuff will just sit there forever. And then just one day, the right customer comes along and buys it. But these shoes sold for $40.50, and they went to a customer in Australia. So they went to Australia, and the person who purchased this paid $85 in shipping alone. So they paid more for shipping than they did for the shoes, which is amazing to me that someone would pay that much to have shoes shipped to them, but they obviously just wanted this pair of shoes really bad. But yeah, they're gold shoes, and they're from a company called Mecca, and they were size 10.5. So I got those shipped off today. Now I sold this globe. This is one of those things I was talking about earlier. This globe sold for $50.40. And the buyer contacted me and asked to cancel their purchase. And I was wondering, why did they want to cancel the purchase? And then I got to looking, and the shipping cost was $150. So I have gone into this listing now, and the dimensions were pretty. I mean, when I measured it, I used the actual dimensions of the globe, which made it, I guess, astronomical for shipping. When people come onto eBay and look at shipping costs. So they canceled their order, but what I did was I changed the dimensions to a lower dimension amount, which was lower than the actual dimensions of the globe, in hopes that it would sell. So I contacted the buyer and I said, hey, listen, I understand why you canceled your order. I looked at the shipping cost and I saw that that was just an outrageous amount. So I said, I've changed the dimensions and changed the shipping so that it would be less. So if you're interested in this item and you would like to buy it, it is relisted. And I gave them a link to the listing. Unfortunately, they haven't contacted me again to purchase the item again. You know, you win some, you lose some. I've got to get this shipping stuff figured out because it is costing me sales on a daily basis. So I just need to look at that and figure out how I can change my shipping so that I don't lose those sales. And what I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about just doing a flat rate for the larger items and not doing the dimensions and the size, not making it based on the dimensions and the size, just doing a flat rate. But I've got over 2,000 items listed in my store, close to, I think it's like 2,300 at this point. So it would be impossible for me to go through all the items in my store and check the dimensions and everything on that and change it. So what I'm doing on a daily basis, I end and sell similar, a lot like Chad does, except Chad, he goes to the ones that are ending on that day and he ends those and then he sells similar and relists them. But what I do is I look at what I have ending soonest, and if I don't have watchers on it, I go ahead and end it, and I'll end all the ones that don't have watchers, and then I will go back and I will sell similar on all those items. And I usually do about 20 to 30 of those every day, whether they're ending that day or not. I just go to the ones that are ending soonest. The next item that I sold, this was sold on day before yesterday on the 26th, was this Lionel train. Lionel is a really good brand to get if you can run across it. I got this in a yard sale. I paid $10 for it, and I sold it for $143. It is a complete train set, Santa Fe. Let's see, it's the Santa Fe Special, and it was a complete train set in the original box. Of course, it was used, it was played with, so, you know, it wasn't brand new. Renee says the shipping is expensive, and William says they don't go by weight. I'm not sure what you're asking there. If you do it by calculated shipping, William, it is by weight and dimensions. But what I can do as an eBay seller is I can go into the listing and I can set the rate to whatever I want. Say I don't want to charge them more than $10 to ship it. But the only thing that's bad about that is when you ship it by a flat rate, it could be going, like I live in Alabama, it could be going to Alaska. And if it did go to Alaska and it was a large item, it would cost me a whole lot to ship it. And so I would end up losing money in that situation. So you just have to be real careful. It's dimensions and weight. So yeah, that Lionel train was a really good purchase. Like I said, I paid $10 for the train, got 143 out of it. So that's a really good return on investment on that. And when you buy things that are electronic, you want to make sure that they're working because there's nothing worse than selling an electronic item and then it getting returned because it doesn't work. That happens more times than I want to say. But it's not because I didn't test it, because I do test every one of my items. And, some things just don't work. That's one of the pitfalls of selling electronics is not everything works all the time. So this is another thing that sold on the 26th. This was a PlayStation 4. My wife, Carol, I call Mrs. Side Hustle, picked this up at a yard sale. There was a box, and she got up before I did. Sometimes I'm a little bit lazy on Saturdays, I admit it. and I sleep in a little bit, but she got out a little bit ahead of me on that particular day, and she found this box, and she goes, do you have any um, do you have any video games? We always ask, do you have any video games or video game consoles whenever we go to a yard sale? And they did. And so we picked up this, uh, she picked up this Xbox and brought it home. Now, she paid $10 for this Xbox, if you can believe that. That's an amazing deal that she got on that Xbox. It was just the Xbox. It didn't come with any cords or controllers or anything like that, but it was in pretty good condition on the outside. I just had to add a controller to it. And of course, I put an HDMI cable with it and the power cord and any other cords that was needed. And I also put 3 games with it. I put Call of Duty, Minecraft Dungeons Hero Edition, and then a basketball game. So I try to put a couple of games with every bundle that I do so that it'll help the console sell. But it sold for $130.50, and that was a pretty good deal. You know, she only paid $10 for it, and it turned around and sold it for $130, which was amazing. You don't see stuff like that all the time. Chris Swindle, hey, how are you? Welcome to the live stream. I haven't seen you before. If you will introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you and who you are and where you're from, and good to have you on here. Yep, that was a PlayStation 4, and I do sell bundles in my store. When I get done with this live stream, I always put a link to my store in the description below. So if you're watching this later, or if you're watching this now and you're interested in looking at my eBay store, then come back to my video later and look in the description, and you'll find a link to my eBay store. The next item that I sold, sometimes I sell toys. And I'll tell you, a friend of mine named Dash, my brother William calls him Dash Riprock. But my friend named Dash, who lives in Dallas, Texas, he has a little YouTube channel as well called Dallas Flippin', and it's FLIPIN, 1P and IN. But he's kind of got me looking at toys and, you know, whether or not you can make money off of toys. And if you have to ask that question, the answer is absolutely yes, you can. Now, if I had listed this one's been listed for a little while, but if I had listed this recently, I would have made a video and shown that it lights up and it walks. And that may have been part of the reason why it took so long to sell. But this dinosaur is an Adventure Force motion activated Dinobot. So the lights come on, this light right here on his eye, he has a light in his tongue, and he walks. And it is really neat to look at. It's a really neat toy, but unfortunately at that time I wasn't familiar with how to add videos to my listings, and so, you know, they weren't able to see it actually working. But that sold for $17.99, which was a really good deal. A good deal for them, and a good deal for me. Chris, you're in Montgomery. Yeah, okay. You met me at the yard sale, and I bought some games from you. Also sell on eBay too, part-time. Yes, okay. All right. I know who you are now. I see your face. I got you, Chris. I know exactly who you are. I'm glad you got to join me on my live stream today. How do you add video to your listings? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. And when I get through going over my sales, I will kind of walk everybody through that so that we can all see how to add videos to your listings. Maybe I could do that now. I'll wait just a minute, just a little bit. Hang with me, and I'll show you how to do that, okay? All right, so the next thing I sold on I sold this on the 25th, was a pair of Michael Kors rain boots. Now, I've had these rain boots in my store forever and a day. I mean, it has been a long time these boots have been in my store. And they finally sold. Another thing, another long tail item that just finally sold. And they sold for $59.39. I bought these, you can see actually on the bottom, these sold for $10. I bought these for $10 at a thrift store, local thrift store here in Montgomery. But they sat in my store and sat in my store and sat in my store for a long time, and they finally did sell for $59.39. So $10 into $59.39, I will take that all day long. The next item that I sold was these new old stock groove tube vacuum tubes. If you ever find these vacuum tubes in a yard sale or in a thrift store or somewhere, I suggest you pick them up, because you cannot find these things anymore, and people are paying big money for them. I bought these in a private pick, as well as like a whole tub of these old stock vacuum tubes, like you would see in the old antique radios and stuff like that. People are looking for these, and they're especially looking for certain brands. I guess this groove tube is one of the brands that people really are looking for. But this was a really good pickup, and I was really glad to get that. I paid $70 for everything that I bought from this particular person when I picked these up. So if you go to all the things that I actually got in that pick, I probably have about $1 a piece. No, probably got about 50 cents, a quarter to 50 cents in these vacuum tubes. So it was a really good pickup, and I'm still making money off of them. I've already sold probably 15 of these vacuum tubes, and they sell for really good money. Like this one was $49.50, and the other one sold for even more than that. So on July 24th, I sold a Monster High DVD. Not a real big sale. It was $7.20. These don't go for a whole lot of money, but I've got less than $1 into this. I picked it up at a yard sale. It was actually in one of my videos not too long ago, but yeah, I picked this up in a yard sale, and it did pretty good. $7.20, and I've got less than 50 cents into it, I'm sure. The next thing that sold on the 23rd was this Cabela's hat. This hat is from Idaho, and it sold for $13.49. When I see hats, I usually get hats from anywhere from $1 to $2. Sometimes I get them as much as $3, but I won't pay more than $3 for a hat. But to be able to turn $1 or $2 into 13 or 14 or 18, or if you get a really good hat, sometimes I have made as much as $24 on a hat. But there are some hats that that go for hundreds of dollars, but they're specialty hats, and you have to know what you're looking for in order to pick up one of those. The next item that I sold was on the 23rd of July, and this is a bundle that I sold. It was a PlayStation 1 bundle. Like I told you earlier, I bundle up these game consoles. Sometimes I'll buy them for parts or repair off of eBay, and then I will go in and change capacitors and fix it, make it work if it's not working. Sometimes it's as simple as just cleaning the little lens with some isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip, and then they end up working perfectly. So that's one thing that I like to do. It takes a little time away from the reselling, but I just enjoy dealing with the vintage video game consoles, and they make good money, especially around Christmas time. And my sales of the video game consoles are picking up. So So this was a PlayStation 1, and these PlayStation 1s came out, I think they came out in the early 2000s, maybe the late 1990s. I'm not sure exactly. But I put 3 games with it. I put Frogger, Kiss, and this quad power racing game, and then also put an OEM or Sony made controller with it. And I may have gotten some of these items from Chris. Chris, if you recognize anything in my video that you've sold me, just holler out. But so yeah. In the last What Sold video, I talked about vintage Barbie clothes that I kind of rediscovered. And, I've sold several of these old vintage Barbie clothes from 1963 that were in this box that I bought. I guess I bought this box about 2 years ago. I sold the vintage Barbies. There were 2 bubblehead, they call them bubblehead Barbies. They had the bubble hair, and they were from 1963. And then there was a Skipper from 1963. Those sold for about $100 a piece. And then I sold the case for another $100. So I've already made $400, and I paid $50 for the whole case with all of the outfits and everything in it. But for some reason, I just got tired of listing the little Barbie outfits. It just didn't interest me. It didn't appeal to me. And so I quit listing them, but I still had all those Barbie outfits. And so not yet. Okay. So I still had all these Barbie outfits, and I didn't have them listed. So I started looking at them, and I was like, I need to get these listed. So I got them listed, and sure enough, they just started selling right away. I sold this Beatles rock band bass guitar controller. This is a Beatles special rock band guitar, and it went for $39.99. This is a lot of the times when you get these guitars for the rock bands, you have to have a dongle that goes with it. I'm not sure if this one was supposed to have a dongle or not, but I just had the guitar, and it still sold for $39. I picked this up at a yard sale for like $2 or $3. So that's a pretty good deal, turning $2 or $3 into $39.99. So virtually $40. So I have knocked myself out of the sharing screen mode. So let me go back in here. All right, this next item sold on July the 23rd, and this is a lot of nail polish. It's OPI nail lacquer, and I think she gave me an offer, or the person that bought this gave me an offer of $30. So I usually take offers if they're within $1 or $2 of what I'm asking. So, I'm pretty good about taking offers if somebody gives me a halfway decent offer. But if somebody wants to insult me and send me a lowball offer that's just like ridiculous, I might block them. So they might get blocked. It's known to happen in the past. So yeah, this lot of nail polish was sitting in a bucket. I have at one of these yard sales, I paid $20 for an entire, it's like a bucket full of nail polish. There's probably 50 or 60 of these, little things of nail polish in that bucket that I bought, and I just have pulled it out and got to listing it. Y'all, if you have a death pile, get it listed. Don't let it just sit there. I'm the worst. I'm the world's worst at just letting things sit around and gather dust. This thing got to the bucket of nail polish, and that's $30 right there that I've already made my money back because I only paid $20 for the bucket, but it was sitting there for I don't know how long, maybe a year. without being listed, without being sold, and I'm just not making any money on it whatsoever. so so sometimes I rediscover things like I did with those Barbie outfits and like I did with this nail polish. So you just got to list stuff as you buy it. Don't pile stuff up if you can help it. And I'm preaching to myself because I am the world's worst at doing that. The next item that I sold was on July 23rd was these beer glasses, these beer mugs. I bought all four of these for $5 and sold them for $24.29. Now, one thing, I don't usually sell glasses. I try to avoid them if I can, especially if it's like a whole set like this and it's not in the original package with the original foam, styrofoam, and all of that to keep it protected. But but these did not have any of that. I just picked them up. But when I packed them, I was very careful to pack them in a separate box. So I put lots of bubble wrap and foam around them, and I haven't heard back. They've had them for about a week now. They were delivered about a week ago, and I haven't heard back from them. So apparently they made it in good condition and did not get broken. But a lot of times when you have glass items and when you're a newbie seller on eBay, you're going to break stuff. You just have to learn how to pack stuff. And a lot of times when you have glass items, you have to pack a box within a box in order to keep it from breaking. And that's what I have had to learn. And that's what I did on these. So apparently it made it without any problems. Let's see where I am on time. I did tell Chris that I was going to give him a little bit of time and show him how to go on there. And let's see. How long have I been on here? I've been on here 51 minutes so far. So Chris, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop with showing the what sold, and I'm going to show you real quick how to put a video on a listing. So give me just a second. All right, so I'm on my active listings tab here. Let's see, that may not be what I want to be on. But let me pull up a listing that I have. Okay, so this is my listing. This is a Star Wars Black Series 6-inch Rogue. So I'll tell you what I do, Chris, is I will take a video with my phone, and I have purchased some space on an iCloud, if you're familiar with that. And so on Google, and so I upload stuff to the cloud, especially when I'm making a video for YouTube. I'll upload that to the cloud because my phone is not really compatible with my laptop. And so when I try to do a direct link between my phone and my laptop to put a video on my laptop, it doesn't seem to work. You may be able to do that. So if you are, then I suggest you do that. Just save it to a save file on your laptop. But if you look down here where you see photos and video, 6 of 24 photos, okay? So I've got my photos here that I've taken, but down here you can add photos or you can upload a video. And so what I do is I'll go to upload video. And I've got the video on my hard drive of my laptop that I'm working on. And so what I'll do is I'll go to whatever folder it is on, and I will upload the video to the listing. It takes a few minutes for that upload to happen, but once it happens, it goes onto the listing and it is there. Let me see if I can go to one of my listings that has a video. All right, so I'm going to go to my listings, my active listings, and I'll show you what it looks like with a video. All right, so this is my active listings. I'll go down, I'll scroll down and see if I have one that has a video here. I made a video for this one, but I haven't uploaded it yet. And I don't know if I did one for this Nintendo. I did a video, but I haven't uploaded that one yet either. So let's go back and keep scrolling down. I know I have one on here that has a video on it, so I just have to find it and pull it up and show it to you. I know what. I'll go to one that I know has a video. Well, I did it again. Let's share that screen back again. All right, so selling. All right, y'all bear with me. I'm trying to pull this up so Chris can see what it looks like when you put the video in. So I'm going back to my listings. And I'm going to go to my store. And I'm going to search my store for Xbox One because I know I have. Yeah, okay. All right, here we go. So this Xbox One Forza Motorsport Edition, this is a specialized Forza Motorsport Edition. I wanted to be able to show anyone who's buying it what it will do, what kind of noise it makes when you start it up, and then let them see that it actually does work. So there's the video, and I'm going to start it up and let you watch it. I like the sound that makes. It makes it sounds like an engine when you start it out, when you start it up. So anyone that is looking at my items that are listed, they can go to this video and they can see that this item is working. And so that gives them confidence to know that when they purchase this item that it is actually working and they don't have to worry about are they going to have to send it back. So I think that's a worry with a lot of people on uh, when they buy stuff from eBay, especially electronics, that they're going to buy something that just doesn't work. And so I hope that showed you how you can add a video to your listings, and maybe you'll be able to start doing that in the future with your listings. So I'm going to show a couple of more of my items that have sold recently. Go to sold items. See if I can get back to it and show you some of the items, a couple more items. We're running short on time, so I'm going to have to stop pretty soon, but I'll show you a couple more of the items that I've sold recently so you can kind of get an idea. By the way, I found some Fleer baseball cards at the thrift store yesterday, and there was a Sammy Sosa in there, that a Fleer baseball card Sammy Sosa that I found in the 1990 pack. It was a whole pack of baseball cards, and I found a sold comp on that baseball card that's over $4,000. So I don't think I'll be able to get $4,000 for mine, but if I can get 250 at auction, I'll be happy with that. Okay, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but this little Avon crystal necklace, I've had it in my inventory for a while. I think I took an offer for $12 on it. It was listed for $13.49 with the 10 cents off. This little Minecraft overworld golem. This is an action figure. This is one of those little toys I was telling you about. My friend Dallas flipping eBay or YouTube kind of got me started on looking at toys and listing them. They're real easy lists. This one is like a little tiny figure. It's only like a couple inches tall, but it sold for $16.20. And I know I have less than a quarter into it, but yeah, you can, if you're interested in getting into selling, what I suggest that you do is you just start around your house. Go around your house and see what you have that is around your house that you can sell, that you're interested in selling, and then just list a couple of items and start listing items every day. Never had that one. Cool, thank you. I'm sorry. Okay, good. Yeah, so what I suggest you do if you're interested in getting into reselling is just start with items around your house. Just look around your house and see, what do I have that I don't use, that I don't need, and just, take some pictures of it. You don't have to have a whole lot of fancy equipment to get started. But you do need something that can take a picture, and you'll need the ability to connect to the internet. So what you want to do is you want to just get started. That's the only way to do anything. That's the only way I was able to get started on YouTube. I love doing YouTube. I'm having a blast with it. It's a lot of fun, and I finally got monetized. Not making very much money with it, but it's a lot of fun, and one of those kind of challenging things that I wanted to see if I could do, and I have been able to do it. So now I'm monetized. That would have never happened if I had never started. So it's just like that with eBay. If you are interested in doing something like this, just get started. Just pick something in your house that you don't want anymore, that you would sell in a yard sale or something like that. Take some pictures of it You know what else you can do? If you don't have anything around your house, start walking around your neighborhood. You don't know what the neighbors have thrown out. I have found so many things that have been thrown beside the road that have value, and I was able to actually sell on eBay and make money on it. And I don't have any money whatsoever into it. So, you know, it's to me, it's just a lot of fun to do eBay, to sell on eBay. It's kind of the thrill of the hunt when you go out to the yard sales and pick stuff up. And Chris, by the way, you have given me some awesome deals in the past, and I have made a little bit of money. You gave me a little bit of meat on the bone for that. So I appreciate your giving me that, and I look forward to seeing you out in the area at yard sales and different things in the future. So next time you see me, be sure and holler out to me and shout out to me. All right. But I have been on here for an hour and 5 minutes now, and it is time for me to close out. I appreciate each and every one of you for staying with me for the time that you've been with me. It looks like I had a pretty good viewership tonight, and I was really, really enjoy doing these live streams, and I'll be doing one every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. So be sure and join me each week next week, and come back next week, and I'll have another video. I don't know if I'll do another What Sold video or what kind of video I'll do, but a lot of times I do stuff about retirement. Since my channel is named Retire Inspired, I talk about retirement, and I talk about some of the things affecting retirees, and I talk about my retirement experience. So come back, and if you're not retired yet, like Chris is a young guy, so he's got a lot of years ahead of him before he'll be retiring. But if you're not retired yet, but you're thinking about it, and it's never too early to start thinking about retirement. But come back and join me and see if I have something to say that might benefit you. Again, thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope that you can come back and visit me again in the future. Come back next Sunday at 6:30 and visit me again and stay with me for my live stream. And I thank you all. Thank you for the subscribers that I've gotten. I'm about 1,070 subscribers now, so pushing 1,100 subscribers. That's really good. I'm really happy and excited about that too. So so life is pretty good. Today was a great Sunday. I enjoyed the day. I got to go worship my Heavenly Father above, who I serve and worship and love with all my heart. So you guys have a great week, and I will see you next week. Take care. Love you guys. See you soon. And Chris, I'll see you on the yard sale trail. Bye-bye.